In a galaxy far, far away, there exists a group of fierce and fabulous women who are on a mission to explore the depths of pop culture. They are the Galactic Gals, and they are here to take you on a journey through the cosmos of entertainment. From the latest TV shows and movies to a trip down the Milky Way of nostalgia, they will delve into the worlds of fantasy and imagination, bringing you insights and analysis that are out of this world. So buckle up, cosmonauts, and get ready to blast off with the Galactic Gals Pop Culture Podcast.
Hello, welcome to episode 24. Sorry we're late. We were talking about art in the green room. And when we start on art stuff and art supplies, forget it. We're going to be late. That's just the way it is. I'm sorry. Yeah, we were talking about some of our projects we've been working on and just some fun stuff because lately pop culture has been letting us down. It really has. It's just nothing but stunning and brave Doctor Who news constantly, 24 hours a day. We do have some things, but we're just going to pretty much wing it today and just kind of like, after we're done with the articles, just talk about whatever we want because we're Gen X and we rule. So, and that's how we roll. So haters going to hate. Sorry. We roll and you hating, whatever. But anyway, yeah. So, this has been kind of a depressing time to be a Doctor Who fan, to be honest. It's been kind of exciting and depressing at the same time. And I don't know. I think a lot of that is due to the media, personally. But
media plays a big role in it. I'd rather just watch for myself and find out for myself and figure out for myself.
Right. So I think that we should all take a break from looking at articles personally. I did thank you, Wen, for finding the one article in the whole entire world that was not about a stunning and brave interview. Thank you. And it was from Wales. So you people in Wales rock. It's not perfect, but it is an article about the actual plot. Somewhat of a plot of the Christmas special. So that's nice instead of the recent article that we're not covering today. I'm just not going to cover a Radio Times interview that's basically just here. Let's just, we want a virtue signal. So I'm not about that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so we're gonna have fun today. We're just gonna like chit chat and take our time, and there's no hurry. So obviously there's no hurry, but I also, Michelle, you sent me that link. I appreciate that because I went to the Who page and I actually found more information.
Okay.
And the information that I found was supposedly, the rumor is that the 60th special is going to start on November 11th, supposedly.
I saw that too.
Yeah. So that's also in our and also our beautiful picture. I wish I had a body like that. It's been about 30, 40 years since I've had a body like that. But again, Jason, outdoes himself. And
Retro Doc said the only art I want to talk about is this art. He likes it. So yeah, it's classy.
Well,
it
is. It's 1940s feel to it.
Yeah.
And I love that because I love the 1940s style, the hair and the makeup, the glam, classy, something that the world today does not know.
It's sexy without showing sex.
Everything. Yeah.
I mean, and that's what my boys comment on all the time. And I have a 25, 23, 19, and a 17-year-old, and we went to the mall, and they're like, "What the hell are these girls wearing? Oh my god!
Oh my
god! Clothes on,
I actually we went to the mall a couple of weeks ago just to get out and look around, and oh my god, just the stuff. It was like they look like streetwalkers. And I'm no Mary Whitehouse, but come on. I mean, I've had my day. You know what I mean? I like, you got it, flaunt it, go do it. Every once in a while it's all right, but have a little mystery, ladies.
For real.
Have a little. Don't show it all. Make them want to find out. That's
exactly. Because using the imagination, that's half the fun.
Yeah.
That's why I love it when our favorite Doc, wears those suits and everything, because it's like, oh, that's just hot. Yes, see?
The scene where he shows Clara his outfit for the first time is literally was like, I fell in love with Peter Capaldi.
At
that moment. That was like, oh my God, I'm so attracted and I don't know why. Well, it's just the way he holds himself, and he is the best dresser.
Yeah.
So, and I don't think he's going to lose that title anytime soon.
No.
Recent pictures have been stirring people up, and not in the way that we were stirred up with Peter Capaldi. I mean, some people maybe, but I like a good kilt. I do.
Yeah.
I don't like that shirt with it and those boots. Just let that stuff go. And I don't mean just take it off. I mean, put a nice, like traditional Scottish shirt with that,
Yeah.
Not everything has to be weird. It
true.
It is Doctor Who, but it doesn't have to be that weird. Anyway.
Quit. Cat scratching at the door.
Yeah. The cat wants to be part of the stream, but back in our day, ladies, we kept it classy. So
Yep.
Learn back in the Gen X days. And some people, we got some boomers in the audience too, which are awesome. They're an awesome group of people too. But Gen X rules.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you're part of Gen X too. So.
Oh, yes. Yes. My sons talk about how much they hate their generation, and they identify as Generation X too. So
yeah, we're too cool for school, man. We really are.
Yeah.
And and I mean, I just think about the things that, like, growing up, we had technology, but it was very little.
Right.
But it was just such an awesome time that I find myself really wanting to go back there every time I look on X or Twitter. It's Twitter, but or X or Twitter or Facebook. I want to go back to that. And I actually like the age of when we had the internet, when it first came out, it seemed kind of cool. And now it's just a bunch of twats on the internet bitching about, what show,
Everything.
what's happening to their show.
Yeah.
Including myself. So I'm not keeping myself out of that, but or how inclusive and diverse it needs to be, and even though it's got about 50,000 different genders and drag queens in it. So
Yeah.
so the first article is obviously Doctor Who related. Doctor Who's latest theme music revamped to debut on BBC Radio 2 next month. So obviously we're going to get a new theme, which will be interesting. It's Murray Gold, so that's exciting. At least that's that. That's some exciting news. So I'm very interested in hearing his new rendition.
Me too.
Personally, I really felt like I like Murray Gold, and I think he's great in themes and stuff. But I mean, I'm kind of like, feel like in a way I felt like they should have never messed with the original theme, and they should have kept it as is, as in maybe the John Pertwee era or the Tom Baker, because I feel like, why mess with perfection? I mean, although I do enjoy the Eccleston Tennant music. I do think that's really good, but it's still it's gonna be better than and I didn't hate the Jodie Whittaker one. It was the best thing that the director of the music at the time. I can't say his name. There's no way I could even say his name. But I thought that at least was good. But the rest of his background music just sounded like, like Valium. Like instantly made you want to sleep or just go somewhere else. So, you know what I mean? Or like just, contemplate what you're doing with your life. Like, why are you watching the show at the current state of it? And of course we get a picture of, I don't understand why we need a face shot of Shooty. It'd be nice to have a shot of Murray Gold here. Maybe, with the orchestra, the symphony or whatever he's doing, or in the studio working on the new revamped version. But we get a picture of Shooty Gatwa, which is strange. But again, this is I don't know what this is. Radio Times. They got a virtue signal. So the latest version of Doctor Who's iconic theme tune is expected to debut on BBC Radio 2 next month. To mark the sci-fi show's 60th anniversary, Joe Wiley will present a special edition of Sunday Night, It's Music Night on BBC Radio 2, Doctor Who's 60th a musical celebration. So it's recorded on Thursday. It was recorded on Thursday, 28th of September, at the home of BBC National Orchestra of Wales, Hodderknott Hall of the Wales Millennium Centre in Cardiff. The concert will feature the BBC National Orchestra of Wales and BBC singers, conducted by Alistair King. Musical pieces to be broadcast for the first time, including composer Murray Gold's latest version of the Doctor Who theme music, plus the theme tune of the 15th Doctor, which will be interesting to hear. And Ruby Sunday's A Doctor's New Companion theme, The Life of Sunday. Again, another picture of Shooty. Fans of the show will be treated to the other familiar themes include I Am the Doctor, Abigail's Song, This is Gallifrey, the Impossible Girl, I Am a Good Man, and The Shepherd's Boy. The concert will also include contributions from Doctor Who showrunner Russell T Davies and former series boss Stephen Moffat. Joe Wiley said, as listeners to my Radio 2 show know, I'm a huge Doctor Who fan, so presenting this concert is a dream come true. Better to mark the incredible 60th anniversary of the show than this wonderful celebration of the music. I would like to see like a prom. Like, why don't we do that instead of like a radio program and like broadcast it national, like, well, they're not going to
like
do
a simulcast or something. Right.
Make it an event. If this is going to be something big, or at least make it like it's on YouTube or something, and you don't have to do like the whole thing. Just do a few clips or something, or have it like where people can see this. I actually like those. I watched the one with Matt Smith. And I enjoyed it. I was like a little kid, they brought the Cybermen out. It was like a big production. I want that. I don't want a radio thing. I want, like, if you're going to do this, let's do this, let's get people excited instead of all these virtue signal articles. I'm glad it's coming out, but I'd like a little bit more of a celebration.
Right.
But it says the concert will also film for BBC iPlayer to be broadcast. So apparently we're going to get one later. I just would like it now.
Yeah.
Radio 2's In My Life is My Life in a Mixtape will continue the 60th anniversary celebrations in the autumn when Doctor Who actors start sharing the music that has been a soundtrack to their life from childhood through to now. So, as it says, Doctor Who's going to return in 2023, which we already know. So that's that. And looking at this article, I think it's just the same old crap theories from fans. And at the time, I thought I wanted to cover it. I really don't, because it's just like it's more of the same. It's more of the same silliness. And so, if you guys want to read it, it's on MovieWeb. But honestly, they didn't solve any mystery that I could return, and they stated the obvious. So, you know, sometimes you look at articles and you're like, yeah, I'm going to cover that. And then you get there and like, I really don't feel like covering this today. So if you guys want to read it, it's on MovieWeb. And of course there's always, it's the toy makers behind it. Yeah. We kind of thought that too. So this is the article that I was talking about with, thanks Wen for providing this. It's an actual article about what we can expect from the Christmas episode, rather than Shudigat was the best Doctor ever, even though he hasn't really played the Doctor yet, and he's a gay icon and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
It's actually about the Christmas special. So I thought this was amazing because this doesn't happen every day. So basically they spot him filming with a giant snowman. So I'm kind of thinking the snowmen are coming back. I don't know. Maybe it's because the giant snowman afloat, but that's, you know, in here in this little thing that I needed to fix that I just covered my article with, because that's a really good thing to do. I was tired. I came home and I was actually just not in the mood to really put up a PowerPoint about any articles at all.
Yeah,
so you see this half-assedness, you know. So basically, it's just basically doesn't really hurt me covering it up because it doesn't tell you anything you don't really already know.
Right.
But here's the scene: Nakuti punching his way out of a giant snowman head that's landed on him. And somebody wrote, "This is some peak Christmas RTD stuff right here." I think it's just people are so excited that the Christmas is coming back because we had New Year's specials for the last 4 years. So anything to these people would be peak RTD. This is not, I don't see this being the Christmas invasion. I don't see this being that level.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong.
You know, Archer said, best Doctor ever. He hasn't even been on the screen yet. How the smeg can you know? I agree.
Well, exactly. But you see it on Twitter. It's like he's the bestest ever because he ticks boxes. So therefore that crowd is just, look, I'm not saying he's going to be good. I'm not saying he's going to be bad because I don't know. He could be really great. He could be a good Doctor. I'm kind of veering to where he's not going to be as good as Peter Capaldi, because I'm just going to say he's not going to be as good as Peter Capaldi.
Right.
But he might be where I actually like the way he plays it. So I don't know. It's hard to get excited right now with all the virtue signaling they're doing. So, you know, already my opinion can be tainted because of that crap. So, I mean, it's just, again, it's nice to see something that's, you know, kind of focused on what's going on here. This is a little behind the scenes. So they obviously, somebody caught the TARDIS here. And it's obviously the Jodie Whittaker one, but I don't know about you, but I didn't have a problem the way the Jodie Whittaker looked on the outside. The TARDIS, not Jodie Whittaker.
Right.
Jodie Whittaker's TARDIS on the outside. So
yeah,
I
Blue
like
Police
the TARDIS.
Box
I actually have it over here.
TARDIS, so, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I like the black lettering, so I have no problem with it. So here we go with the lady who has already been praised for being a positive ambassador for the show. Greeted fans who came. He hasn't done anything. What has he done? How has he been a positive ambassador? I don't know. Maybe you've seen something. Maybe somebody in the chat seen how he's been a positive ambassador for the show yet. To me, a positive ambassador of the show is Peter Capaldi, because he's actually gone to hospitals? Has he sat with children? I mean, that to me is a positive ambassador. Being gay and being Black is not, doesn't make you an automatic ambassador.
Right.
I mean, anyway, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe that just sounds harsh, but he greeted fans who came out in numbers to witness filming. I don't know if they came out in numbers, maybe so.
Yeah.
Never with Doctor Who, people took to social media platform X, formerly known as Twitter, to share their encounters with the Doctor. One person who stopped to have a photo with Judy was Nick, who runs the Doctor Who filming locations account. A night shoot to remember, he wrote, he's a pic with his idol. And then I just met Shooty, another friend who stopped by, watched filming take place. You know, he's probably a nice person. I don't know. I mean, he just annoys me with his virtue signaling, and I think that once maybe he plays the Doctor, maybe feelings will change. We'll see. But it's going to have to be something amazing to kind of downplay all of that mess that's been going on.
And we still have months to wait, so you know.
Yeah. So here's a scene with him and Bonnie Langford, who plays Mel, and I like this picture because it just looks like a fun picture. You know, and it's good to see her back. I liked Mel. Mel got a bad rap, but I do like Mel, and it's nice to see a classic character come back to Who, and that's something that you can be excited about. You know, with all the other articles that come out, and they feel like sometimes you're just like you want to pull your hair out. It's nice to focus on the things that come out that have been good about it, and I think Bonnie Langford coming back is a good thing. So basically, the one interesting rumor that has circulated regarding the plot of the Christmas episode is that former Big Brother host Davina McCall will guest star as herself. The Sun reports how a source said Davina welcomes new companion Ruby on a genealogy show, like her ITV program Long Lost Family, and she seeks her birth parents. In the bizarre twist, the host letter gets crushed by a falling Christmas tree. Is it spinning?
Yeah.
And
I'm gonna
have
like my Christmas tree.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Does it have like the balls that shoot lasers? Because you know it's kind of been done, but
yeah.
All right. The source told the publication the Christmas special is a huge deal for the BBC this year, especially so as Shooty and Millie's first. The Davina storyline is one element of the big festive episode on the table, so that's just a rumor. But I've never watched that program. I don't really know anything about it, but maybe people really want to see her crushed by a Christmas tree. Maybe she's a gigantic twat. I don't know. Maybe some people just hate her, and that will be enjoyable at least. I don't know. She might be a very nice person. Viewers are yet to meet Shooty's version of the Doctor. Yes, we all know. We haven't met him yet. But unlike previous incarnations of the character, he's set to have a varied wardrobe. The BBC first unveiled his initial look, a brown check coat and trousers with boots, last year, but he has since been spotted in a red leather jacket, 60s inspired suit and period dress. So I think a lot of those are probably just for the episodes, the time period he's in. But yeah, I think that that outfit he had on with the yellow shirt, and there's a worse picture too. I should have put it here. But yeah, that shirt, just keep the jacket on, we'll be fine. Don't take the jacket off. As somebody said on Discord, it looked like he had boobs. So
yeah. You know, in the previous incarnations of the Doctor, I don't ever remember any attention being drawn to what the Doctor wore. I always assumed he like had maybe a perception filter on, and they saw him as how he wanted them to see him.
I will say this, like in Hartnell and the Romans, you know, he obviously dressed like they did
as a Roman. Yeah.
I mean, so that's happened before. I just think that they just didn't make a big deal about it. They just played the show. I don't think that there was tons of articles like, what is Hartnell wearing today? I mean, because it's this time period. Everybody's so shallow and so focused on being fabulous all the time that they forget about the plot. And I think that that's the difference. Hartnell did that a little bit. He didn't do that with not in every episode. This is probably the most it's probably been done. But there's been a few times, you know. I kind of thought it was neat that he just didn't, because it's like he's so like sure of himself. He doesn't need to like impress these people. Like, I don't need to know.
Yeah.
I want you to know I'm a time traveler. I have no problem with it. He didn't hide
Right.
it.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, the kilt thing. There's probably a reason. I'm sure that's not his regular outfit. He's gonna be wearing. I mean, he'd love that, but it's not his regular outfit. I'm sure.
Yeah.
But yeah. So because I decided not to post the inflammatory Radio Times enraging article about Sophie Aldred going on about her drag queen gay son that is only going to watch Doctor Who because there's gay people in it. I decided to go with this one, which I think that this is this is a very rare time that I actually agree with the journalist.
Okay.
At every word, because this kind of describes why John Pertwee was literally the best. To me, he was one of the best versions. He was, to me. As much as that pains people to hear, I like him way better than Tom Baker. I love Tom Baker, but to me, John Pertwee was. So this kind of sums up how I actually feel about, John Pertwee, and and it's just if you have time, guys, go to digital. I think it's on Digital Trends. I didn't obviously forgot to put the little thing, but Digital Trends. This is a great article by Matt Poskett, and he basically says that Pertwee's Doctor Who was the perfect hero to root for. He absolutely was, and he had some of the most interesting companions, because you had Liz, who could actually was like on the same level as the Doctor, for a season. And she could kind of like, talk shop with him a little more than the other companions. And I actually wished that she would have had some more time with him, because I did like their dynamic. As much as I love Joe, I think it just needed one more season. But I think that, from what I recall, John Pertwee thought that he needed to be with someone that he could, educate. And I don't mean that in a way of like he's educating a woman. So calm down. Nobody's saying that. But you know what I mean? Like she's fresh and she's new, and everything's new to her as far as the scientific world and the Doctor and stuff, and which I think worked great. I just really did enjoy the whole Liz dynamic as well. And Spearhead from Space is one of my favorite episodes, and from his era, because it just, the way he was introduced, the way it flowed, it had comedic elements, but at the same time you have this very serious Doctor that's way different than Troughton, that comes out and he's very in charge, while Troughton was much more like scared a little bit and would kind of hide in the corner. Here's this man that comes out in this and he's not afraid to wear it. That's what's amazing. You're talking about outfits. I mean, you get like the ruffly shirt with the the cape and and then you get Bessie, and it's the whole package was just magical. And and him, like, he was the perfect archetype of a man that he saves the damsel in distress. And I think that is very appealing to women. Every woman that I've ever, a lot of women that I've talked to about Classic Who, they always say that John Pertwee's their favorite. And I think there's a reason for that. He's dashing, he comes in and he controls the scene, and I don't know. If you guys have time, read this. This article is very long, but I just wanted to touch on some of it. But I don't know. Like, for me, hard pressed to find an episode with John Pertwee that I don't. I mean, like, there's some that I like more than others, but they're hard pressed to find some that I just can't watch. There's some of Tom Baker that I can't. Some, like, I can't watch Meg Loss, and I can't. There's some. But John Pertwee's like, if it's on, I'm going to watch it. It doesn't matter if it's one that it's not my favorite. It just, I can watch. I'm not a fan of Planet of the Daleks, but I can watch it because he's in it. He makes it so much better. He makes a very, like, a script that is a little, needs a lot of work, just come alive. And I think him and Peter Capaldi are very the same that way, but I don't know what you think. You seem to like him as well.
The few episodes that I've seen, I had a friend, acquire the episodes for me of him, and I've seen a few, and I love him. He's brilliant. He's quirky, but he's he loves playing the teacher, and I think you have to have a good actor that can teach his companions and not come off as condescending or anything, because he genuinely wants to share his knowledge, and his companions really want to soak it up, and that's what makes that dynamic between the doctor and his companion work, and I love that aspect of John Pertwee.
Yeah, sure. He's him and Delgado were like, and this article is to say, which I agree, Delgado was like the Moriarty here.
Mm-hmm.
And they meshed so well together. It was just like, and there was little touches, and he goes on to say, like, he'll fight the master while eating a sandwich, and that was just John Pertwee. That was just he was a comedian, but he wanted to get away from that, but he still had little touches that he allowed in there that were just, it was just, they were gems. And he's one of the people in the whole entire, of all the doctors that had passed away, if they could bring John Pertwee back to play the doctor again from the dead, and they could clone him, I'd be for it. I'd be like, do it again. Let's do it again. And let's just make it better. It's one of those things you just wish that you could see more of it, because it was just didn't seem like enough. And, and as far as, Sarah Jane, that was her first doctor. That was the one that in her scene when she had to tell him goodbye is just, to me, it's so, when he says a tear, Sarah Jane, and he was such a I did watch, and someone in the chat could remind me what the name of the anthology series is, but it was a Hammer horror that he was in. And there was parts that were goofy where he had the vampire teeth in, but it was very enjoyable, and he still had that. He still was like, it was like watching the doctor play, another character in a way. But he still had that way about him. And just the way he would walk, he'd move. Same with Peter Capaldi. I think that's why I like John Pertwee so much, because there's similarities, and definitely, if somebody is listening to this stream or later listening, if you've never watched John Pertwee, if you only watch one doctor in your life, well, I can't say that. If you only watch two doctors in your life, watch John Pertwee and Peter Capaldi.
Yes.
Because I don't know, they just nailed it. And I know people love Tom Baker, and Tom Baker's wonderful. Don't get me wrong, I love Tom Baker, but for me, I always say this because it's true, but like, he had me when he said shoes, when he was in the, when he was, he had me at shoes, because that was it. I was like, I'm hooked, because I wasn't sure, because I knew about Tom Baker and Tom Baker's beloved, but I was like, I don't know, this might be boring. Oh no, it was a ride. And I encourage you to look up episodes you haven't seen on, I think Daily Motion has them. You have to look up by the episode name.
Yeah.
But delve in, and I'm telling you, you won't be sorry. It's and I saw Gary's comment about Monster of Paladon. Yes, it is a chore, but he still makes it better. I could still watch it. I could still watch that on a loop over a lot of stuff. So, he's an amazing actor. I'm sorry that he's gone. It's like I get sad thinking he's not here anymore. I mean, obviously he wouldn't be here. He would be over 100 years old.
Yeah.
But I did see something very funny, and I think he would laugh at it too as well. There was you see those articles that like they get you to click on their clickbait, like when you're scrolling through Facebook. Because I guess I'm in Doctor Who and I look up a lot of Doctor Who stuff. Like a couple of years ago, I saw a blurb, but it was like to click here, like click on this article. It was like, see what John Pertwee looks like now. And it was like a couple of years ago, and I'm like, please let somebody in the chat say a skeleton.
Really?
They didn't fail me. they didn't fail. But I think he would actually laugh at that as well. Because I still think of that and I still get a chuckle. And I think he would probably get a chuckle at that too. Because obviously John Pertwee doesn't, he looks like he's dead. So, yes. And you just tuned in. And if you just tuned in, yeah, just whatever. Just stay with us.
Yeah, we're like
Don't
all
be
over the
scared
place
off.
today.
We are. We're not. There's no. But yes, this article is great. So please read it. Give it some traction. Share it. We don't get many of. Darren Zone says skeletons. Ask it when. Yeah, maybe she. Oh, yeah, she's got a lot of skeletons.
Yeah, I've seen
It
some
keeps out
great.
nosy people though.
Yeah, I've seen some crazy decorations around. They have
Yeah.
skeletons that are like, I mean, 10 feet tall out here in people's yards. And I'm like, oh my God. They're
Oh, Wynn would
huge.
love that. Don't tell Wynn. She'll be like, I'm going. Where do you get those? They're cool though. I like sugar skulls. I love them. I love the because they're colorful and I love drawing them and adding stuff. It sounds a little creepy to some people, but I don't care. I'm not normal. Everybody knows I'm not normal. It's all right. It's all
Nothing
right to be
wrong with
different.
that.
No, John was only able to play the doctor because he had been shipped ashore. Yeah, it talks about that for medical treatment during World War II. His ship was sunk a week or so later. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
Man.
and what's interesting about Spearhead, and I always like trying to get a good look at that tattoo in the shower. That when he has a shower, it's amazing. It's a thought, so the doctor, when he regenerates, he gets a tattoo. And most of the time you're watching it, you don't think about that, but then you're thinking, wow, and he didn't cover it up. So he was very proud of his service.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway. Say, since you're such a Pertwee fan as I had you been a kid watching all of Pertwee back in the day, would you have thought of Tom Baker's very first episode? I probably would have scoffed. And I actually kind of did in a way. It was like, because I didn't want him to go, and the same feeling of like, I know what's to come, but I don't want it to happen. I want more. So there was still some of that kind of more like, because Robot is not one of my favorite Tom Baker episodes. And I think that it was written for Pertwee, which made sense. And I think I would have liked it more with Pertwee. And I think I was just real critical because I'm just like, okay, what you got your first episode? Let's see what you got, Baker. I was kind of in that headspace because you get caught up in this. You start to really connect with this doctor. And it's like, I know it's been years, but I've connected with Pertwee and I can't let go. And so that was very difficult, believe it or not. Not quite as difficult as Peter Capaldi or
Right. Yeah.
to Smith, but it still was there. And it's amazing how you get so connected to these characters that you forget yourself. Like, I know Tom Baker's good. Why am I being so critical? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, because of Peter, that's why I went back and, was watching John and fell in love with him and like, oh my God, so yeah.
Yeah.
They're brilliant.
Yeah, but what I thought about Robot was probably a little harsher than it needed to be and I still kind of feel like it would have worked better with Pertwee because it was written for him and it would have been, to me, it would have been better. I know there's people that love that episode, but I think Tom Baker had more, later when he came, when he started, getting going. I think that was like, and he was getting his sea legs, so to speak. So.
Yeah.
But Pertwee, amazing doctor. So we talked about Hartnell last week. So I felt like I want to, kind of touch on some of the older doctors instead of focusing on all this negative stuff. It's a mess. And here's some great pictures of Pertwee and on the set and also the wacky Who-mobile that he had too was really. I call my car the Who-mobile because it's got a silver color. And so I kind of dubbed it that when I bought it because I wish I could get the license plate that that has that on there. It'd be cool. Nobody would get it. So this is the little thing that you sent me.
Okay.
And I thought this was really, really, really interesting because this kind of like makes me a little bit more comfortable about the 60th, because there's that thing where it could be anything, like the theory, we talked about theories last week that were like,
Yeah.
no. But this is a much better one. This is a new Doctor Who leak has revealed that the 14th Doctor will regenerate, which I don't like that term because it
No.
sounds,
Yep.
no.
I know where you're going.
And I'm like, conspiracy. What do you
Yeah.
mean by regenerate? What do you mean by that? No, I know, but it just doesn't sound. In the climax of the 60th anniversary, meaning the 14th and 15th Doctor will coexist and become separate bodies. I mean, okay. The leak states that the 14th Doctor will stay behind with the current TARDIS, and the 15th Doctor will fly off in his own TARDIS, which sounds a lot like the 50th in a way, like how Smith, which I knew why they did that way, but it's like it seems like, okay, we're doing that, but we're going to add a little twist to it. Which sounds like a lot of rehashing some of the old stuff that they know works. So in this case scenario, I think this would be a much softer, like, I don't want anything weird happening. I don't want any timeless children crap. I don't want any of that horribly breaking of canon or any of that. I don't, because we had enough of that. So,
well,
not
it
that it
makes
matters.
me wonder if they're gonna split and the 14th David Tennant's version, it just makes me wonder, could they be in Pete's universe, in the alternate universe? Because his regenerated hand, got left behind with Rose.
If we're in Pete's universe, you know who we're going to have to see.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I'm not happy about that.
What you're saying, this could be like a part of the, okay. Well, yeah, she'd be excited that she'd have two doctors.
Yeah, but I think I think the newest version would not have anything to do with it.
Oh, yeah. She no, he wouldn't. Well, hopefully not. But she'd want to run off with him.
Yeah, I mean,
unless somehow this is the same thing. I don't know. Who knows? But I don't want to see her. So I really
me neither.
Pete's world.
No.
Maybe they could show a tombstone with Rose on it.
That would work. Yeah, I mean, at first when she was first there for the 9th Doctor, she got him out of his funk, then. But then when David Tennant came along, yeah, it's like no.
Yeah, it became a little old, and I didn't like the way she treated Sarah Jane, where she tried to, she got jealous, and then she piped down when she realizes that what happens to his companions, where they end up.
Yeah.
So this is the other thing. The Doctor Who 60th anniversary special is rumored to be premiere on Saturday, 11th of November, which is on my mom's birthday. So, I love you, Mom, but no, I'm just kidding. No, I would be watching it later, and then maybe we could do like a Sunday stream. Let me know. And we could do the day after the 60th. Like, sounds so.
Yeah.
It sounds a little creepy. But
I'm assuming that it's going to be on Disney Plus for us to see.
It is. Do you have
okay? Yeah,
okay.
We do.
We'll talk after the show. But if you have something else, you can.
Yeah.
I don't want.
I'll find a way. Trust me.
Yeah. Right. And which I'd have another way, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But so I thought this was funny. I said, this is the Doctor Who page. I'm like, already I love this page because it got tons of likes. And it says, when you're watching an episode of Doctor Who and it says written by Chris Chibnall in the titles, why does it have to be this? It's how we all feel. And hopefully this will not be how we feel going forward. I don't know. All these articles make us so angry. And it's like, I had to realize you're being manipulated by the media. Just ignore it. It's best to just try to ignore it. Go about your day. Go about your life. When it airs, then we'll give our opinion. Because we really don't know. Nobody knows.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of felt that old, anger brewing up a little bit yesterday. And I thought, just don't focus on it. It's just they're projecting. They want this to be so bad. They're so excited they, and they may end up being very disappointed in the end product. They actually might be, because they're never going to be happy. So it's like, if he doesn't make it obviously like, if RTD decides, okay, I'm not going to make the doctor gay, and the doctor's not going to play gay, and he's going to be just a normal doctor, they'll complain.
Right.
Because that's what they want. So it's like, or they want the doctor in all these sexual relationships with all, whatever. I mean, they'd be happy if the doctor was in an orgy right on screen.
Yeah.
They would have no problem with that at all. So, it's become a porno. That's,
Oh my.
they won't be happy until Doctor Who gets turned to a porno. So that's how fan fictions are,
Yeah.
So, there's hope on the rising. There really is. I kind of feel it, and I like this article. It's actually it's not about She-Hulk, because nobody wants to talk about that. But Hollywood screenwriter explains how woke diversity hires will be out of jobs under a new WGA deal.
Ooh.
So yes, so this is good, and this is from Bounding into Comics, which I trust a lot more than most media right now. Screenwriter script doctor recently alerted that woke diversity hires will be out of jobs under the newly amended deal with the Writers Guild of America signed with the studios. During an appearance at Midnight's Edge in the morning, script doctor shared his thoughts. He was asked by the show's host Andre, I can't say that. Will there be less jobs? Andre, the giant. Will there be less jobs for writers now when you have guaranteed writers' room? Script doctors responded, well, there's one of the things I didn't like in regards to the guaranteed writers' room, because you have compelled hiring. But it looks like certain members of the union on the negotiating committee have turned that inside out a little bit for the benefit of writers that know how to finish script and maybe not push too much ideology in there. Don't get me wrong, there's definitely some veteran writers out there that are drinking the Kool-Aid, but the vast majority of them, the ones that do not preach this, are younger. I have been learning through the colleagues that a lot of them have actually spent more time striking and spending time on social media than actually expanding their portfolio of scripts to pitch when the strike is over. So these Generation Y, Z, whatever the hell the fuck that they're called now.
Yeah.
They haven't been doing any work. They've been just busy protesting because that's their job, obviously, right now. And so I'm not surprised. After briefly comparing himself to his colleagues, he continued, so basically what we are seeing here from the youngins is that there are going to be possibly less opportunities for them, especially in something like the greenlit or mini rooms. And that comes down to two factors that I can think of right now. The first one is that the current MBA clearly defines that a showrunner has to be union writer. So it can't be an internal executive producer like Kevin Feige. It also gives them a bit more power to who they select for the writing positions for the minimum staffing mini rooms. And also says that whoever they select has to be approved by the company, or the showrunner has to argue for them to be involved. So they have to argue hard for this person to be involved in the writing process, which is they need that.
Yeah.
I mean, and some of this is what Joseph had kind of talked about when he was on. So in other words, it's like, it's really not, there are good writers out there. It's just, they're not getting hired because they're hiring all these young people that, are about their ideology. So
and I guarantee
and
I guarantee you, he still was writing during all of this.
Of course, he's not. He's a Gen X.
Yes. So
of course he is. He's working. That's what we do.
Yeah, and we need more dark matter. Just saying.
Yes, I actually did like tweet him yesterday because he mentioned dark matter, and I wrote, I want it back, and I had like crying face.
Yeah.
Now, with regards to those rooms, you have a showrunners that would only a real showrunner. A good showrunner is only going to hire writers that they're going to get value out of their room, which means that if you're a diversity hire, that's all you've got going for you. And you're no value to a showrunner, which means you're not going to get your guaranteed hire over there. And I think that's a good thing, script doctor elaborated. So, and obviously this is just his summation of, the deal with the strike. They've made this deal, right? And this is just his opinion about it. But I think this looks good, and I hope this happens. I hope this happens exactly how he's saying, because maybe we'll start getting some good television again, a lot more.
Yeah.
Of it. You get trickles here and there. You get gems. but it's
Yeah.
still not completely, you know. So he
Right.
goes on about mini rooms, which I don't know anything about mini rooms, but he says that you can look at a pilot like Ashoka and say to yourself, okay, there's a show that was done in a mini room. I think the mini room is like, it's like it was done by one writer. So I think that's what they mean by mini room. And if you put that through the pilot test, there's no way it would have picked up for the remainder of the episodes. So in other words, and that's a good thing. You don't want that. So I'm trying to like process. There's no way it would have been picked up for the remainder of the episodes. So I guess it's a pilot test. I'm not a writer. Maybe we could have Joseph on. Maybe he could like, okay, this means
Yeah.
this. I need a graph.
Yeah.
So right
Yeah.
now it looks
Yeah.
like mini rooms that they're kind of being, for the moment, they'll be kind of less priced out on a budget side of things from the studios because it's more lucrative and less risk for them to actually go back to shooting a pilot, testing it, and then determine. Okay, basically they can shoot a pilot, test it before they decide to order all these episodes. I think that's what it's getting at.
Okay,
So
that
they
makes
would test the
sense.
pilot like we used to do, like they
Yeah.
had shows and they were just a pilot and they test it out. They make a movie, like Doctor Who the movie, and they test it out and see how it went. And if it didn't go very well, they wouldn't order anymore. But I think they're not
Right.
doing that anymore. I think they're making the pilot, just ordering a whole season of it, and then just putting it all out there, or just in increments sometimes. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it would go back to where they just test the pilot first, which kind of needs to happen.
They did that with Stargate Atlantis. In the Rising, it was 2 parts. And they had to see
like a
people
movie.
bite. Yeah. And we did.
That's
so
how it
that's
should
why we got
be.
5 seasons. Yes.
That's how you get shows, and that they don't bite. Unfortunately, Doctor Who the movie did not.
Yeah.
And so it went, but we still have that, which they probably retitled. They did call it the movie then, I think. I don't know. I remember. And then determining whether it's going to be given a series order as opposed to building a show in a limited amount of time and then pumping it out for you to be stuck with it and you can't control. Develop or change it based on audience reception, he elaborated. So I think that's happened with a lot of these shows like He-Man and things like that. They don't test the pilot. They just throw it out there, or they start releasing them once a week or 2 a week or something. And then, you're stuck with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Alexa, shut up. She's reminding something. Yeah, she's talking. So
the day Alexa killed my co-host.
Yeah, you're right. The lasers.
Oh my gosh.
Really, check that article out. It's in Bounding into Comics. It's a great one. That is all we're gonna discuss with articles and stuff. I mean, it's just completely like a mess out there, and I'm really tired of looking at articles. They're just all depressing, and especially in pop culture. The only good ones are when the ones that they're focused on nostalgic things. So I try to find a lot of those, but there's only so many of those. But
yeah, for sure, man. Well, actually, John Steed said maybe the penny has dropped now that the audience are switching off and in their droves with woke and virtual signaling. I agree.
Yeah, maybe.
A lot of people get tired of it. Yeah, mini-me.
Yeah, maybe the penny has. Yeah, I agree. I'm hoping. I'm hopeful. There's a point where in this world where you got to have a little hope. As much as our current administration sucks.
Yes.
Which, you got to have some escapism. This is the time for it. This is the perfect time.
Yeah, because Bidenflation sucks.
Oh, yeah. You used to build back better.
Oh, yeah, right. What a joke. We used to be able to buy a Little Caesars pizza. Used to be $5. $5.45 here in Tennessee. Now, one pizza, $8.55. So I'm like, wow, really?
Yeah, the last time I bought Little Caesars, it was $5, but also Trump was in the White House too. So there you go.
So,
but yeah,
I know.
We lived in why I titled this podcast, that is like, back in our day.
Yeah.
We had Reagan. So We're tired of this bullshit. So there you go. We're tired of all this bullshit. We're tired of bad media. We had the best music. We had the best movies and TV shows. We had it all. And yeah, I need the DeLorean to go back to that because it was just a wonderful time. It really was. These kids today don't know. They really don't know. Like, what were you listening to in 1987 or in 1985? What bands were you listening to?
Oh God, Def Leppard, AC/DC, Journey.
Yeah.
REO Speedwagon.
Yeah.
Oh God, everything you could think of that was 80s. Aha. You know, take on me. You know, oh gosh, just a lot of different bands. Scorpions, yep.
Yeah. They were good. They were really like, you know, I mean, as much they try to make it cheesy, and I know they played at air shows, but you know, Rock You Like a Hurricane, it's still good. The volume's still gonna go up in my car. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't have any kind of I don't care. It's a great song.
Pink Floyd, The Wall.
Oh yeah. Many a night with the extracurricular activity.
Yeah.
With The Wall and Dark Side of the Moon.
Yep.
Wow, we had some good stuff. We had some good music. Yeah, Maggie Heron says, I miss Ronald Reagan every day. Yes, I will second to say two people that I want them to clone and bring back, John Pertwee and Ronald Reagan. And I don't care if Ronald Reagan's a zombie. I really don't. He's better than the zombie we got now. Just saying.
Yeah, for sure. You know, and have those
Ronald Reagan the zombie. Can you imagine? Congress. There's no brains here.
Man,
I'm starving in this place.
Oh, man.
Anyway. Yeah.
I like
so
what
Ronald
Retrodoc
Reagan
said.
the zombie. I'd vote for him. Huh?
Retrodoc said, if I had a DeLorean, I'd go back to the Civil War and prevent Biden's parents from ever meeting.
Yeah. And I'm sure that they were Democrats.
We must get a group together and go rescue him from California there.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, well, I heard, and I don't know how we got here. We'll talk about anything, but Newsom, I heard Newsom's going to run.
Oh,
so
my
your governor,
God. Gruesome Newsom.
Yeah, it's a mess, but you know, this is why I like going back and looking back on stuff because you know, our movies are now considered classic. I looked on Turner Classic Movies the other day, like on Max, they have a section. And when I find myself looking at TCM, like I'd always like TCM, but really looking at it, you know, more and realize, wow, I love that movie. He's like, that's 1985. I was like, what is 1985 doing in TCM movies? Well, that was like 5 years ago, right? And it's just like, you know, our movies are considered classic now, but yet they still keep trying to rip them off badly.
Yeah. Well, as long as they don't redo The Breakfast Club, Pretty in Pink. There's another movie that goes with those three or those two. Pretty in Pink, The Breakfast Club. I can't think of the name of it. Well, The Goonies. And I think they're remaking The Goonies, which I don't know about that. I think they need to leave The Goonies alone.
They need to leave everything alone. Get an original idea. Stop making everything woke. Learn how to write. Learn how to have an imagination. Get off the internet. Go imagine something outside. Try to go back to your kid's side. You know, that's what people need to do. They need to go back to their child side. Because once you do that, you can come up with all kinds of awesome stuff. I think right now people are just so stuck on pronouns and, you know, social justice. They don't even know how to have fun anymore.
They don't.
You know, you're 25 years old and you're not having any fun. You're just talking about social justice issues and you feel like you're so better than everybody. You're not going to save the world. You can't. You're one person. Just live your life, have fun, take care of your family, love your family because they're going to be gone one day. And it's not worth marching in the streets about some issue that doesn't even affect you.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly. And I've seen some things on YouTube where they'll ask them, why do you support so and so? What has he done for you? And they can't give you a coherent answer.
I think they're hot, or oh, they give a good speech. Well, Satan gives a good speech.
Exactly.
Satan can talk real good. He's got the silvery tongue. I mean, it's like, yeah, whatever. It's like, I'd rather have somebody that tells me the truth than somebody that doesn't.
Exactly.
It's like when you go to the doctor, and they tell me, yeah, you need to lose some weight. It's not what I want to hear. You need to give up, you need to give up drinking. I don't want to hear that. You think I want to hear?
But
I don't want to hear that.
Yeah, I get it.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
And so I go out and I'm going to do what I want anyway. But at least they told me the truth, because I honestly, it's like when they lie to you, it only hurts you in the end. So I'd rather have somebody that like, I don't want to get too political, but if you have somebody that's going to tell you the truth, it's better. And if you have someone that lies to you, and wants to control your life and run it, it's never a good thing. So we had that world where we had a president and things were booming, baby. We had like capitalism when it's at a high. People were happy. Maybe most of them were on cocaine, but they were happy.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, cocaine was big in the 80s. Let's not lie about it. It was. But people just had fun, and we the kids were just, oh man, it was awesome. I remember walking through the woods like to school just because I wanted to. I didn't have to, but I walked through the woods and didn't think anything about it. I didn't think about serial killers killing me. All the other kids did it too.
Yeah.
And me and Maggie, I'm pretty sure we went to the same elementary school, so she would know. I think she lived in the area where she had to ride the bus, but I lived close to the school, so I'd walk every day. My mom didn't think anything about it. She didn't have time to take me to school. We had one car, and my dad had to go to work, so I got to walk to school.
I remember walking to school,
far.
Elementary school, because in a little town we live in, we live down at the bottom of the hill, and the school's on top, and I was like third, fourth grade, so that's what, 8, 9, 10 years old, walking to school,
Yeah. I feel like the story is going to go, I walked 20 miles in the snow barefoot.
So,
No, we used to, I remember my mom would just be like, well, go outside, and she didn't know. I'd be going out in the woods picking berries and playing with my friends in the woods. We loved the woods. The woods were the best part. Best place to be in the woods. Go out in the woods and find a stick. Play with it. Find a stick, play with it, do your thing. I'm busy. So that's
the
how
rule was. Our rule was be home before dark.
Yeah, no cell phones.
Be home. And we were crazy when the lights come on. Or if you're going to be late, you better call.
Yeah,
because
no
if you were late coming in. No cell phones, no nothing.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I had a pretty big backyard. So a lot of times I spend back there. But if I had my bike, I'm all over the neighborhood. And we had a Dairy Queen like right down the street. So I'd go over there and, or we went to the convenience store, and nobody worried. Nobody thought anything. It was just a perfect, it was an innocent times. It really was like Stranger Things. That was the kind of neighborhood I lived in. Yeah. In fact, it looks a lot like the neighborhood in Stranger Things looks like the neighborhood I lived in. So every time I watch that show, I'm just like, that looks like my neighborhood. And I think they did a really great job of creating that 80s theme. And yes, everything was brown. We didn't have neon lights in our bedroom. Brown carpet, brown curtains.
I still have the brown carpet. Yes. Archer said,
it's tan.
Archer said, wait, Andy grew up on Walton's Mountain?
No.
I did.
Just the neighborhood where the houses. No, just where the houses were not like with the big field they were at, but 1980s Journey, Huey Lewis in the News, Mellencamp, Eurythmics, etc. Yeah, but later 80s turned me onto country. Not a big country fan here. I do like the Eagles and 38 Special.
Yeah.
That's where that's how as much country as I get, and I'm from Texas, which is odd. you think that because I'm from Texas, that I'd be a big country fan. I'm really not. I I tuned into this rock station, Rock 101 KLOL, and Maggie knows what it is. And I never looked back. It was just like that was it. I had metal posters on my wall. My mom hated my room because I had Joe Elliott and Def Leppard and here and the, Scorpions and Ozzy and all this stuff. So I was one of those chicks. I was, really into some of the Dio and um so my room went from Tiger Beat, which was I don't know if you remember that
I remember
magazine.
that. I do.
I went from Kirk Cameron and Michael J. Fox pictures to Metal Edge within a year. My mom was thrilled. She was really thrilled. Yeah, having posters of Dawkins and I mean I had Bon Jovi and stuff like that on the wall. But yeah, I went from Kirk Cameron to men that looked like they had hair on their chest, and my mom was very concerned.
Oh man, I had Star Trek posters on my wall, black and white, Kirk and Spock and the Enterprise and everything. So
actually, I didn't. I would never found either one of those men attractive. See, she knew 101 KLOL. Yeah, it was an awesome station. I mean, they played like album rock. So once I turned there, it was like that kind of just, I never looked back because, you're kind of finding your way what you like, just like politics. You kind of find your way and then, you kind of settle on something. And then, I'm still listening to the same. I have listened to some newer music, but I'm pretty much listening to some of the same bands I was listening to in 1985 and 86. Yep. So,
yeah.
Well,
like Gwen said, the cool. Dukes of Hazzard. Yes. Used to tune in every, I think, Friday night. That and Night Rider.
Yeah, it did come on Fridays, didn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, everybody was in love with Luke. Not Luke, but Bo.
Bo. I like Luke.
Yeah.
So and the A-Team. Definitely the A-Team. Murdoch. How bad Murdoch. So
Daisy Duke. She's okay.
I always wanted her. I wanted her Jeep. I loved her Jeep.
Oh, I forgot about that. I haven't watched Dukes of Hazzard probably in forever. Starsky and Hutch. Yeah, I loved Sean Cassidy. Yeah, I was a Sean Cassidy fan. I don't know if I had Sean Cassidy on my wall. You know what? When I was about 11, I was in love with Tom Selleck. And I had a big poster of Tom Selleck on my wall at 11. So my mom's like, you know what? My mom did not let me go anywhere. She likes older men. She ain't leaving. She's not leaving this place. Nope.
I remember during the summer of the 80s, Mom and I, we used to watch General Hospital with Luke and Laura back in the day. And I always loved Robert Scorpio, Tristan Rogers. Oh man. He was an Aussie.
I used to watch. Okay, listen. My mom and my grandmother, I grew up on Days of Our Lives. And it was kind of the same thing, And it's funny because I was watching it when I was still watching it probably in the early 2000s, off and on, when I could watch it. I mean, that show's been on, still on.
Yeah.
And I recently remembered that Jensen Ackles was on it, which is hilarious because at the time I didn't know that I'm looking at Dean Winchester before Dean Winchester, and he looked totally different. But yeah, I get it. I watched soap operas when I was younger. I don't judge anybody. I had it was probably still at my parents', but it was a Days of Our Lives introspective book because I watched it when I was way little up until probably about, 15 years ago. And off and on, I was still watching it. But Luke and Laura. Jeannie Francis is married to
Jonathan Frakes. Frakes.
Riker.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The Darren Zone, he talks about Chips. I had the biggest crush on Eric Estrada. And I used to
Really,
ride
I like the
motorcycles.
other
And
one. Yeah,
you like John,
John.
Larry
Yeah,
Wilcox. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. I had a crush on John. You know, it's
So
weird how when you're a kid, like, and you look back and go, "Why did I have you know?" But
exactly.
you know who actually I had a crush on? Peter Frampton. That was one of my first ones. I was in love with Peter Frampton. I just really like. I was 5, and I wanted to marry Peter Frampton. So, and I still love Peter Frampton. I still like his music. So, the hair's left him, but you know, it is what it is.
Oh
Yes,
man.
that's why I don't like John Delancey,
Having
because
met
I
him, I
hated that
do not
Eugene
like him.
character.
Oh.
Yeah, I hated that Eugene character they had on there. How did we start? Well, I told it it's anything. Um, and the one that played his girlfriend on their Calamity, Eileen Sorkin, recently died. She did the voice of Harley Quinn. And she
Wow.
played Calamity on there. How am I remembering this? I haven't watched that show in forever. Or wanted to. I mean, I do remember being very interested because they had a section, because I was like Dark Shadows. I remember when they had a storyline where Marlena, she was possessed by the devil. And that was something you just didn't see like on, you know, mainstream soap operas back then. So I thought
Wow.
that was really kind of cool. I was like, wow, that's interesting. And I think she got repossessed again recently. It's like, yeah, you're trying to, you're trying to bring it back. Is Frampton married to Toya
Toy
Wilcox?
Wilcox. I don't know.
No, but I do know a little bit of smut on Peter Frampton and Rick Springfield's wife. Like she was allowed to have an affair with him because that was her like, you know, that was the guy that she gets to sleep with if she ever gets a chance.
And wasn't Rick Springfield? I think he was on General Hospital, right? I
He
think he
was.
played
He
Dr.
was.
Noah Drake, and
He did
everybody had the hots
until
for him.
recently. Yeah. He was also on
Yeah.
Supernatural. He played a version of the Lucifer character, and he was good. Maggie
Wow.
Merlina's possession, yeah. Wow, I didn't know. Like, wow. We're talking about Days of Our Lives. I never saw that coming. Yeah. I remember Rick
Wow.
Springfield from General Hospital.
Yep.
I
So does
love
Wendy. Yeah.
I love Rick Springfield. Rick Springfield has some really good songs. He really
Yeah.
does. He gets a bad rap, but he does. He has an album called Tao. That I love. Yeah, Rick Springfield. Wow. Yeah, he does. They do cruises. Like this fans going on the cruises, and he's up and personal with the fans. I don't know. I
Wow.
watched a doc a few years ago. Yeah,
Huh.
yeah, but yeah, that's cool. No hate from the chat about Rick Springfield. That's a good
No.
thing.
No. He wishes he had Jesse's girl.
Overplayed, but it's still a good song. Yeah, still a good song. He's 72. I think he's like 72 or 73 now.
Really?
He's up
Wow.
there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I remember he was on an episode of Wonder Woman too.
Wow.
Yeah, Wonder Woman, and what he was on another show too. I don't remember which one, but he was in a lot of television series way before General Hospital. It looked totally different, but yeah, Rick Springfield.
Man.
Yes. I was thrilled to see him in Supernatural. Yeah, I thought he did a good job, but a lot of people didn't like him. Oh, yes, that woman. Toya is married to Robert Fripp from King Crimson. That woman, oh my god. Okay, so here's the deal with Toya.
Okay.
She does video. Robert Fripp is from a band called King Crimson, and his wife apparently does videos where she basically, and I know everyone's gonna go look up this woman once I say this, so I'm ready for it. She does weird videos of like her singing sometimes, or she's exercising on an exercise bike or a treadmill without a bra on, with a see-through shirt.
For Pete's sake.
And everybody just watches and like laughs, and it's like a thing, you know, like she's weird. Like they're both kind of a weird couple, but and they like
Jeez.
make out on camera. And just they're older. They're not like, it's not like she's like 20 and he's like 30, 25. No, I mean they're older than we are. So
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Yeah. So I'm Rick Springfield's 72 and Biden is 80, rolling on the floor laughing. Well, 8 years makes a difference, but you know, I mean, Rick Springfield can. Okay, here's a good one. Rick Springfield can still find his way on a stage, but Biden can't find his way off of one.
Right. Yep.
I'm gonna patent that one. I'm gonna patent that one. Yeah, he has some good ones. Yeah, all the good musicians are dying off. Like Tom Petty is gone, and you know, God, Glenn Fry's gone. I mean, there's just so many that are gone. You know, from where we grew up. You know, like that's kind of what you grew up on, and it's just sad to see. You know, they're all like so much older and than they were. Rolling Stones is still doing it though. They're still up there. You know, singing "Start Me Up" and "Satisfaction."
Yeah.
I don't know when they'll ever quit.
Yeah, I remember when MTV was in its infancy, and it used to come on Friday night videos, you know, and we'd struggle to stay up until midnight to watch them, and wake up the next morning.
I was I had you know, when I had VCRs, that was the other thing that came out that were just like, oh my God, that's the greatest invention ever. We can record what's on TV. And Friday night videos would come on, and I'd be like, okay. And I was really good at editing and cutting out commercials really well. Like, you know, at the end of the video, like, you know, I mean, I was the one that recorded all their movies from TV, and like, okay, she'll cut the commercials out real good. And obviously I'm pretty good at editing, but so it's funny now that I think about it. I'm like, why did I cut those commercials out? Because now I want to see those commercials. So I have this thing. I don't know if you do this. I have this thing where I'll go on YouTube and I'm feeling bad, you know, and like I just don't feel like watching anything really. I just want to like feel like take me back to that time period when I was a kid. So I'll watch 70s and 80s commercials, just the commercials sometimes. And for whatever reason, it lifts my spirit. It's my thing. Like if I'm having a bad day, I'll look them up, like old commercials from the 70s and 80s, and I will just watch them one after the other. I don't know why that's become a thing, but it's kind of a thing now.
Yeah.
We tried to avoid the commercials when we were young. Yeah. But now you want to see all that.
I got to address a comment. Archer, he ain't my fucking president. No way. Hell no.
Brandon is not. No.
There's a commercial I watch even to this day. I'll have to go find it on YouTube. It's for the I think the Hoover Dirt Devil, and it's a cat, and it's sitting on the stairs, and it sneezes, and you hear and then all you see is fur fly, and I laugh my ass off at that.
I remember that one, but I totally forgot about that commercial.
I watched that today, you know. So
Headbangers Ball, with Ricky Rockman. He was on there. And I remember when he had long hair, and then like now he's cut it and he looks like a dork. You know. I think Adam Curry was on that too as well, I think, early on. I can't remember. But then he cut his hair. He looks really weird.
You know, you mentioned the VCR. I remember my brother had a Betamax, which was the smaller version of the tapes.
Yeah,
and that was how I first watched Thriller. I watched the whole making of Thriller and everything.
Oh yeah.
That was awesome.
My sister had that, and like she brought it over, and like I was hooked. I loved the whole making of the thing.
Yes,
because it was cool, and
it's still a brilliant video today. You know,
it is. It really is. And then Eddie Van Halen did the solo part, and a lot of people think he actually did the other part of the guitar, but actually, that was Steve Lukather from Toto. So the guitarist from Toto is playing just not the solo part. He's just playing the regular guitar throughout the song. And he's really bitter about this. If you ever look it up, he's always grumping. I was the one that played on there. I was the main one that played on there. But Eddie Van Halen got the praise because he played the solo. So I just watched the Thriller video again recently. Yeah, and it was really something, you know. And then you
Yeah.
had Vincent Price at the end.
Yes. Brilliant. Brilliant. Brilliant.
I
Loved
don't
it.
know if yeah, you know who Cassandra Peterson is, right? Elvira.
Yes. Yes.
Right. Okay. Well, recently I read her book, which I loved. I recommend. It was great.
Okay.
And she basically wrote in her book that she was actually the original choice to do that that end part.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah, I can't remember why that they decided. I think they decided to go with, you know, somebody, obviously Vincent Price, but he knew somebody that was working on the production, and so they called him in and he did it, which I think I would have not preferred Elvira doing. I mean,
No, I
honestly, I
think
can't
Vincent
imagine
Price was
anybody
the
else.
right choice. Yeah.
Right, and she even admitted, she said, "Look, I'm glad he did it. He was always her idol, so
Yeah.
it was just perfect, you know." It's such a perfect
Yeah.
Halloween song. Just he makes it that way. So,
Yeah. And when I remember the Oscar Mayer commercials, I remember those.
mhm.
Yep.
Yeah,
And I've
those are
seen the
great.
Wienermobile. Yep.
Yeah,
Sometimes you'll
yeah,
see
they
that
still do
driving down
that.
the interstate. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like I was telling one of the other strands, we used to see if you're driving around Houston back in the '80s and maybe some in the '90s, you catch the ZZ Top car every once in a while
Yep.
driving around, and that was
Yep.
cool, you know, because they were like a big thing too in the '80s. They kind of made a comeback.
Yeah.
With Sharp Dressed Man, and so it was just you know, the '80s. What the thing about music is, going back to music, you know, the music today, everybody sounds like everybody else. It's like this
Hmm.
singer sounds like this singer, they all sound the same. In the '80s, you know, you had people like singer from Mr. didn't sound like the singer from Foreigner, or the
Right.
Journey, or any other bands, you know, or Bon Jovi. They all sounded different. You know, you could all tell who they were when you started singing the song.
Hmm.
Like, you knew immediately Lou Graham's voice from Foreigner. You just know it. And it's like nowadays they all sound the same. There's no originality. There's no anything. Aha didn't sound like a flock of seagulls, and you know what I
Right.
mean. It was a very Depeche Mode. And then you had Depeche Mode and The Cure, and you had different, just completely. It was so eclectic. Um, you know, and even the R&B, which I'm not a fan of R&B or rap, was better back then. And like now, it's just
Yeah.
garbage.
Yeah. And
Yeah, Steve
yeah,
Perry
Steve
had a
Perry
very
definitely unique.
uh
Yes.
I mean, they've copied
Yeah.
him, but it's still not him. Um,
Right.
I mean, they've gotten pretty close with Arnel Pineda, but no, it's just not the same. You know, it just isn't. It's like you can have a perfect singer and they sound great, but it's not, you know, when you start taking members out of the band. Foreigner is a good example of that, because there's literally only one member left and he can't even hardly perform anymore. Do you consider that Foreigner if all the original members have left the building? Literally.
No.
Um,
No. No. Yeah.
no, you start replacing it so much, it's just not even the same anymore. And it might be good, but it's not the original.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, now with the
Lenny
invention
Henry
of
did a
AI, they'll bring AI in to replace them. You know,
yeah,
and it
I
won't
don't
be the
know how I
same.
feel about that. But you know, it's
Yeah.
like at some point in your life, you're just like, I just want to hear some of it. I just want to hear I want to hear some more because these albums you listen to over and over again, you still want more at the end of it, you know. And eventually
Yeah.
they will leave us. So it would be nice. Um, you know, like we'll never hear what's oh when Biden is beat out of office, he can star in the reboot of Tales from the Crypt. It would be unintelligible. It would be
Yeah.
like, right, we're gonna walk him out. Where am I? Where's the stage?
Yeah.
That would be it. Is this a stage? What am I doing? Why am I here? That's what it would be.
Yeah.
Be
Oh
entertaining.
my goodness. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Lenny Henry. Where goes it? Lenny Henry did a Doctor Who spoof complete with a long leather coat 40 odd years ahead of Shooty. Yeah, he did. I did see that. I think it was funny. But it's not funny now. We're not laughing now. Something was very funny. Uh,
Probably the
I hope
Biden
it's something
thing.
we
Yeah.
said.
Oh
I hope
gosh.
it was something we said. But yeah, I think we had lived in just a great time, man.
We
I still want to
did.
go back. I do think that it would be kind of hard. It'd be great at first, but then I'd probably be missing. I'd be wanting to use my camera phone and show everybody, hey, I'm at the premiere of Star Wars. You know,
Yeah.
Star Wars was good
And
too
then
back then.
yes, it was. And, the old rotary phones, and then you had somebody
Yeah.
beep in, and you had to hang up and get to the other line. And
Yeah.
I remember that. No texting.
Yeah.
You actually had to talk to people.
Yeah, you actually did.
Which,
or you wrote them a note. You wrote them a letter.
yes.
Me and my friends used to write letters. Like we would write letters to each other and send it to our houses, just for fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
In fact,
original
me and Jason
texting was passing notes in class.
Yeah, or mailing the
And
letter.
not
I
getting
used
caught.
to mail.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember we were first dating. I was 19 when I first started dating Jason. We would write each other letters in the mail. Wow, that's how old we are. Yep.
Oh,
And we
man.
call each other on the phone, and there was no pictures. We had to listen to what each other was saying, and
Yeah.
for 3 or 4
When
hours.
Tracy
on the
and
phone.
when Tracy and I were dating, he was overseas. He was on a ship, and so we'd write letters, and when he would call me whenever he'd get into port, I'd have to accept the collect call and then get the bill later on, and that'd be like a $400 phone call.
Oh man. Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember that. I used to get it. Yeah, I used to get in trouble because I'd call my friend in another. I had to pay the bill because I was working at the time, but yeah.
Yeah.
And you had to talk to your friend's parents on the phone. I remember that. They would
Yep.
call and you'd have to ask
Yep.
for your friend. Sometimes you just didn't want to. Like, man, I wish they would answer the
Yep.
phones. I'm just talking to this person. Like, is Susie
Don't
there?
blame me. You accepted the call.
Tracy just said, "Don't blame me. You accepted the call."
When was the last time you
Well,
wrote
I
a letter
missed
and
you.
mailed it?
Been a while.
It's probably been over 30 years. Probably the last letter I wrote is probably to him. Yeah, it's probably to Jason.
Gary's
It probably
asking us,
was.
did our arms ever get tired cranking that telephone all day?
I actually liked it. I would just, and I'd prank call people. Okay. We did that.
Yeah, we've done that.
And we'd prank call people, and so we would just call random numbers and hope somebody answered. We didn't know. We didn't even use the phone book. We just okay, we know this error code, so we'll do this, and then who knows?
Yeah.
But
is your refrigerator running? You better go catch it.
Well,
oh my goodness.
We call McDonald's and ask for stupid stuff. We pretend we were old ladies, or we call now I am an old lady, but we we pretend to be old ladies, and we call and bug them. But it's usually McDonald's or some other places where they just don't have time for your shit. And
no,
then
Gary,
we go to the
never
mall.
had that. Nenever had that.
Not the princess phone, the crank style phone.
The one where
Oh
you stand there
no!
and
Oh,
do
you're
it this
kind of.
way.
I see. He's trying to say
Little
we're
House on the
old.
Prairie style. Yeah, no.
I don't know, Gary. How was it? How was the crank style phone? I don't know, but you tell us all about it. How was cranking that phone?
I do remember party lines, though.
Yeah,
I do remember party lines.
Yeah, or calling somebody on three-way, not that three-way. Not
Yeah.
It sounds so lewd now. When we said, do you want to do three-way, we didn't mean what they mean now. We meant calling somebody on a three-way line. And then you call their other friend. And then you would just meet people on the phone. I bet Jason
I remember fax machines.
And then you'd meet a kid that your parents wouldn't approve of. So you always went to the mall to meet them at the mall because you could get inside the mall and they're gonna these people are old. They're not gonna follow you into the mall to see who you're meeting.
Right.
I'm just meeting Susie. And it's like Jim that you're meeting, you know, that you've just met over the phone that you've never met. And, you know, he's 18 and you're 15, you know.
Yeah. I remember 8-track tapes, Gary. I used to have some of those.
Yeah, and they
The
skipped right in the middle of a
tape
good
player.
song. Yeah, and they
Yep.
always skipped in the middle of this, and you're really jamming out to this really good song. Yeah, cassette tapes weren't
those were
any
the good
better. You had to
days.
fast forward. You had to fast forward if you want to hear it on a tape, though, like cassette.
Yeah, and then
you know,
then it gets stuck in the tape player, and you pull the tape out, and you see tape. It's like shit, you know. And you stick the pencil in and fix it all. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I hated that sound when you're like, oh, I love this, and you've listened to the tape so much you've wore it out, really, basically.
Yep.
And you hear that crunching sound. It's like the worst. It's like, no. And you try to pull it out without it breaking.
Oh my word.
Yeah. The mall. And you know, the mall is not anything like it used to be. We went Saturday, the same one she's talking about. Oh, and Sam Goody's. That was the shit. Sam Goody's and Hastings Music. And I still remember, I go in the mall here, and I still remember exactly where the Sam Goody's was and the Hastings was. Because I basically live close to the same area that I did when I was a kid. So I'm going to the same mall I did since 1982.
Wow.
And it's different. Like on a Saturday night, the mall used to be hopping. That's where you went to meet boys.
Yeah.
That you didn't want your mom to know you were meeting. But I didn't do that at all. So it was we were like, wow, it's nobody's in here. Like there was kids, but it wasn't like crowded. Like it used to be wall to wall. Like you were just like packed in there. Not anymore. It's just, and they look about like they're a bunch of thugs now. They don't even look like these are kids.
Yeah. And I remember John made a comment about playing Asteroids in a Shop. I remember the video game arcades. Yes. We used to be able to take our report cards in, and for every A you got, they'd give you tokens or whatever to let you play games like that. Hell yes.
Oh, that's cool.
They actually have here an arcade, and if you're under 21, you have to pay an $8 cover. But if you're over 21, you get in free, and all the video games there are free to play, and they're all 80s games.
Wow, that's awesome. They're actually like helping out adults instead of kids.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Yeah. And they
that's
have pinball,
awesome,
you know, but I'm not a pinball player, but, you know, those you have to pay to play pinball. Because they do pinball tournaments and stuff. So
there was a place down the road from us that they have go-karts and stuff, but they have like the retro games inside, and there's pinball machines in there, and every time, and it's like 25 cents to play it, 25 cents or 50, which is good. And like I'm like hitting the pinball. I love pinball. That's my game. The other video games I'm okay at, but pinball, I'm not great at it, but I like playing it.
Yeah.
And they had some interesting machines. They had like the Elvira one, I think, at one time, and they had, and I love the tables. I love how the tables look. The Doctor Who one is not there, but I've seen that one, and that one's amazing too. I would love to have a Doctor Who pinball machine.
That would be neat.
Yeah, but I've actually there is one online with Doctor Who, and it you know, it simulates it, but it's not the same. Standing at the machine and having that interaction is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just Googled mapped the mall I shopped at when I was a kid, and it's still there, but instead of a Macy's at one end and St. Klein at the other, the Macy's men's store was there instead. Yeah, it's they change things out, you know. It's kind of sad to see stores close that you grew up with, especially record stores. I think we need those again. I think kids need record stores. I don't know why. I just think that's the cool place to be. It's just, there's something about going through and looking at albums and cassette tapes and CDs or whatever. And there's just that process of getting it. But you know what? They got to make good music to get excited about for you to want to do that. So you can go to Barnes and Noble and pay $40 for a vinyl you could have bought back in 1983 for like $12. But
now here we have a used bookstore called McKay's, and they have albums upstairs and everything. And sometimes you can get decent prices, and a lot of people go in and buy stacks of albums. I love that
Yeah,
vinyl's making a comeback, you know?
yeah, I have some. I have some new ones and I have some older ones. In fact, we just bought that. Hold on a second. I'll show you guys up close. Hold on.
Yeah, I love listening to records. We've got the Thriller album, and it just sounds better on a record versus on like Spotify or any other streaming service, or even on CD. It's just something about a record. It's classic. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is what Jason recently bought me, and this is the
Yeah.
original copy. It's not opened. I won't open it, but this takes me back. This is part of my childhood that um is just like I love this record. This is one of those Disneyland storybook records from The Hobbit, and
Wow.
yeah, it's actually they don't make this anymore, so like it's still in the package.
You know,
So
I had some Star Trek books for kids in the 80s, and it had little records in it, and you would play the record on the record player
yeah,
and it would read the book.
that's similar. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
that's
those were
similar.
great.
It's just that one particularly is kind of what you know, is a Rankin Bass. It kind of takes us back to the, you know what I mean? And it's kind of like I was really into The Hobbit. That was my thing as a kid. I loved that
Yeah.
cartoon. But he bought this for me. It's unopened and I won't open it. I'll just watch the movie.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, it has beautiful pages. I remember it having beautiful pages, and I listened to that probably over and over again as a kid. I wore the record out, and I don't know whatever happened to it, but he bought me that, and I thought, well, that's really a great gift, you know. That was my anniversary gift, and I'm like happy with that. I'd rather have something like that than a ring any day.
Right. Yeah.
Because
I'm not
that
a big
means
jewelry
he gets
person.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that he gets me, you know what I mean? Like when somebody
Hmm.
does that for you, they really get you. They really embrace what you're into
Right.
and I love that kind of thing. So, um yeah, and it actually has the original Disney logo on it, which I love the
Wow.
original Disneyland record logo.
Yeah.
Those were power. I don't know. The men's store in the mall obviously run by the patriarchy. I want to go there. That sounds like a fun mall. I have Shatner and Nimoy and CD think it's Nimoy singing Bilbo Baggins fun stuff. Yeah, I've heard of that. I think we touched on that when I showed the album covers
Yeah.
a way
Yeah,
back.
I remember those. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I have some vinyl records in there. I have a actually record player, but I don't really have room for it right now. And when we live in an apartment, it's kind of hard to like play records or play something out, because someone would complain. Um, I'm like, I'm sorry you don't like my Who album, but just live with it. You can't really say that. I'm sorry you don't like, Teenage Wasteland right now in the afternoon while I'm cleaning, but you know, or my Kansas album, I'm sorry you don't like that at 6 o'clock in the morning, but
Yeah.
it is what
I
it is. So,
do.
but I do have some.
I do remember 45s on the back of cereal boxes. Yep. Yep.
Oh yeah. And Jason had mentioned that, but I remember getting okay, so I'm gonna say this so you guys don't judge. I had a Barbie, Donnie and Marie playset, like the stage and everything, like where they, it was like the dolls and they had like the stage and it was Donnie and Marie, like Osmond.
I remember the
And
show. So yeah.
yeah, don't judge me because I right. So, but they came out. It came really cool, like record, and it was like plastic, but you could put it on
Hmm.
the. I don't know if you guys remember something very similar, but it was like a floppy record,
Yeah. Yep.
and
I remember that.
yeah, I loved that playset. I loved Donnie and Marie. Don't judge. I did when I was like 4 or 5 years old. It was kind of my thing. Um,
Yeah. What is it? Let's see. She's a little bit country. He's a little bit rock and roll.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
remember that.
yeah.
Yep.
I always appreciated Dottie's take on it, but I liked Marie. I thought Marie was cool. She had the most. She had they both had matching outfits. That was really important back in the 70s when you did variety shows. They had to have like fringe, lots of fringe with glitter and matching outfits. So you had to look like Liberace, even though you weren't Liberace.
Right.
That was really popular. I remember I was in teens from Donnie Marie, but I still liked them. So was my sister. So you're probably my sister's age. I remember listening to Doctor Who, the music 1 and 2 on Dad's record player in the 80s. And by the way, I should have included it in my PowerPoint, but I'd already had it done. But they are releasing a Doctor Who albums, and the cover is cool. It's Tom Baker, and they're doing a lot of the audios for like State of Decay, uh, Genesis of the Daleks, and I think it's like 76 pounds. But check it out when
Okay.
when you can. I mean,
Yeah.
the cover is so cool. It has circles, first of all, the circles from the TARDIS, but they're in different colors, and it's just cool.
I'll have to look at that.
So, and the guys in the chat, you might be interested in that. I think it's pre-order. It's not here. You can't get it here in America, but I think it's pre-order, and you get 4 records. You get 4 vinyls, and I think it's an interview with Tom Baker. One is Genesis of the Daleks. One's another one, and one is the State of Decay audio. And if you're interested in that, if I got something like that, I would just get it for display because I probably wouldn't be interested in listening to the audios. But the covers and the inserts look very cool, and it's like a, it's a whole thing. It's got him on there. It's really cool. So I know a lot of people like the vinyl Doctor Who stuff. Anybody here have the game Astra Wars? Simplistic game, but I don't remember that. I remember Pong
either. Yeah, Pong.
I liked Pong. I remember Asteroids.
Yeah, I remember Asteroids. Gary said, did any of you cut out the record from the back of the cereal box before it was empty?
Yeah.
He said he did. I remember when cereal used to come with little toy surprises in the box.
Yeah.
They used to dump out the box
still
just
do.
to get.
They still do. Hold on, let me show you.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. And or if you wanted the specific toy, you'd have to eat the nastiest cereal just to get it.
This came out of a cereal box, and I kept it because I thought it was cute. Jason was eating. I don't remember what cereal it was. I think it might have been Cookie Crunch or something. Cookie Crisp. Yes, he still eats Crisp. Cookie Crisp is still good. I'm sorry. I don't judge anybody eating that. But yeah, this came from a cereal box, and I kept it. So they still do it. It's not anything real cool, but it's. I mean, I remember when I don't remember Count Chocula and Frankenberry and Boo Berry.
Yep.
Yeah. But I remember when you could have the rebates on the back of the box, you could order something like if you got this many and you get it for this price or whatever. Well, my mom, I wish I still had these. I actually found them on eBay. And I may try to like eventually get 1 or 2 of them, but there were these little they're little figures and they were about this big. And she ordered them and I got the Count Chocula one and the Frankenberry and I loved the things. But stupid me, like, because it's a kid, I put them in the bathtub because that's just the smart thing to do with figures, and it ruined them. So I'll eventually have to replace those.
Oh man!
Eat the cereal as time arm in and rummage around when I open the box. I always ate cereal dry too. Like I loved eating Cookie Crisp just by itself, without milk. In front of the TV on Saturday mornings. Yeah.
Yeah. Defender and Missile Command. Yeah. I remember those games like that. Yep. Sitting down at that flat table. Yeah. So, yes, the Star Wars game. Yes.
I remember when Pizza Hut like had the little game table.
Yes.
And Pizza Huts. Figures and cereal boxes in the UK were big. Yes, and there was a box with John Pertwee on it.
Wow.
In the UK. No lie, they've just come out with a new cereal in that series called Carmella Creeper. It's in a green box. Are you serious or are you making a joke? Let's see.
Are you talking about the Frankenberry Boo Berry? I actually think I might have seen that at Walmart. Go figure. China Mart,
I'm gonna have to. Oh, they have. It's so cute.
They got a new one. It's called the Monster Mash with all mixed
Oh,
together.
yeah, the Monster Mash where they're all mixed together, actually. I have seen that one.
Oh, that looks
But yeah,
toxic, but good. Oh, it's caramel apple. Oh, I don't know. I'm not big on apple, but it's still neat.
I don't
So they
even
have a
like
Monster
green
Mash.
apple.
That's
Yeah. So
No, I like that. I just don't like Apple Jacks or anything. I never
now
liked
Apple Jacks
I
I'll
think that
eat.
was-
Love Fruit Loops, you know,
Yeah.
and Lucky Charms, Captain Crunch, the
Uh-huh.
cut the roof of your mouth cereal.
Oh, I like it had to be the Crunch Berry though.
Yeah, the Crunch Berry one, definitely the Crunch Berry.
Oh, the
not the
Monster
peanut
Mash
butter
is
one.
cute. I'm thinking, you know what? It makes me want to get some. That's really cool. I like that. Do they have a toy in there? It's like, is there a toy? I bet there's something in there. Should be something in there.
If you
I'll
don't
have
buy that cereal, you're a sexist.
Which one?
I guess the Carmela caramel one or whatever, the green one.
It looks well. I just don't like the apple. Like if it tastes like Apple Jacks, I wouldn't. I mean, I like caramel apples. I just don't like Apple Jacks. Cookie Crisp is my favorite. It really was. It's still good. But I don't eat a lot of that because the sugar content. It's just,
Yeah. I've seen the all Crunch Berry
Yeah,
cereal.
but that would be awesome though. I mean, because that's really what you're eating it for.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah,
Good cereals back in the day.
I mean, they still make them, but
Did you ever used to eat King Vitamin cereal? It was like a
I've
guy,
heard of it.
King dressed, he was wearing a crown.
Yeah. I remember that.
Yep.
It just didn't look very good. Did you eat it?
I think I did as a kid. Yep.
Was it okay? Would it actually have vitamins in it? Because that kind of turned me off as a kid.
I don't know.
Like vitamins.
Crunch berries were definitely like way better.
Okay.
Yeah,
I remember
cut the roof of
hating.
your mouth
I remember when you went to your grandmother's house, right?
Yeah.
And she'd have like cereal, but it was never any that you liked. It was like
Yep.
shredded wheat. But one that I did like is I did like grape nuts. I did like that. If you put sugar on it, it was good. But that was the
I'm
only
not a
one.
grape nuts fan.
But she had like Raisin Bran and shredded wheat with no sugar. It was like the worst.
I would take and get Rice Krispies, and I'll still do this to this day, and like pour lots of sugar on it. Just
Really?
plain Rice Krispies and eat it. Yeah.
Oh.
Yes, cream of wheat.
never
I
thought
love
about
cream
doing-
of wheat.
I have a question.
I do
What?
not like.
Does anybody remember pouring all the cereal out of a box just to get to the toy?
Yes, we've already talked about
Okay.
that. Pouring all the cereal out of the box to get to the toy.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Or I would try to reach in, and kind of.
Yeah.
Sometimes they put it underneath the cereal, like the package.
Yeah.
Sometimes they wouldn't,
And then it would deform
Yeah.
the box, and you could never close it back right.
Right. And my mom would scream, like, why did you do this? Because I want the toy.
Yeah.
But I'm going to check out that Monster Mash. And if it's got a toy, I'm buying it.
Oh,
I'm serious.
On the back of the box.
Yeah, the activities on
Oh,
the
I
back of
hated
the
those.
box. Well,
No,
you'd sit there and you'd be eating cereal, and then you'd do the things up while you're eating the cereal
yeah.
just to pass time.
Oh, yeah. You'd read the cereal box. But I always thought that was a jip because I always wanted ones with toys in it. And I don't want any activity. I want a toy. I'm such a brat. But
Okay.
yeah, I just got golden nuggets.
nuggets. That's like, I wonder if that's like
That's like
golden
golden grams.
Oh, bleh.
Yeah.
No, we had a lot.
Really? I like that.
No, because that was given to us in boot camp all the time. It's like, no.
Oh, honeycomb is all right. I can deal with
Honeycomb's
honeycomb.
okay. Sugar Smacks. I love Sugar Smacks.
Yes.
Yes.
No. We have the pop over there, and I always say, I don't like sugar. That wasn't my thing. And I didn't sure why people liked it. Cinnamon Toast Crunch. That was good.
My guys like
Cinnamon
Cinnamon Toast Crunch. They'll fight over that. Oh, Cocoa Krispies. Got to have Cocoa
Uh-huh.
Krispies.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I don't, Cocoa yeah, Cocoa Pebbles was similar,
Yeah.
but you had to have the pop. I don't know. They probably both do. I don't know. I can't eat that cereal anymore. I mean, I could, but
Yeah.
Cocoa Puffs and Cocoa Pebbles, yeah, and Fruity Pebbles is good.
Yep.
Did you ever mix cereal, like mixing it? Like you had some Captain Crunch, and you decide, I'm gonna go crazy. I'm gonna bring in some Fruity Pebbles with this, this berry, or you're gonna put in
No,
some
I
Cookie
guess I
Crisp.
haven't.
Yeah, I used to do it all. When you're kind of running low on one cereal, but you want to eat it, but it wasn't quite enough, you might throw some in there with, I don't know.
I would
Oh
get
yeah, I
Lucky
heard.
Charms, and I'd sit there and eat. And my cat Cappy, who we recently crossed the Rainbow Bridge, she would sit there at my feet and go meow, waiting for me to hurry up and finish so she could have the milk, even though the
Yeah.
milk would be blue from the marshmallows. That's what
See,
she wanted.
I'm one of these weird. I'm one of these weird people that I don't like a lot of milk on my cereal. Like I don't want there to be milk left. I want it to like be crispy, and then like it makes it wet, but it's not like yeah. But then Jason, he just pours it. I'm like, no, I can't do that. Like it's just enough, just enough. I don't want any left because I don't know it just backwash. I don't know. That's what I think. I don't know why.
Yeah, I know the cereal
Um,
dust Gary's talking about. You get down to the bottom of the box and it's just like a powder. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we used to eat that though. You're desperate and you want something
Yeah.
sweet. You will go there.
Yep.
Yeah. I remember being able to metabolize stuff way better too.
Yeah. No kidding.
Yeah. You could eat a half a box of cereal and then eat donuts. It's like
Yep.
nothing. Shredded wheat. I do like when I got older, I liked the frosted shredded wheat, but when I was young, I didn't like it.
Right.
But now I
right.
like, but no, just not plain shredded wheat. We're not eating that. I'm not.
No.
I do like Special K. This is what if I'm going to get cereal, I get Special K, the strawberry one.
Yeah.
And they do have one with chocolate now too. It's good. And then Honey Bunches of Oats is usually what I would get. If I was going to eat cereal now, which is like, I've become old. That's, when I was a kid, we could only afford cereal dust and had to walk uphill in the snow to eat it. Yeah, there was a, clickbaiting article again, but I'm a sucker. If I see something that looks interesting, like they'll have a ad, that's like, when I was young, I went to a friend's house and I was astonished. And then like you got to click on it, it's one of those.
Yeah.
And they have a list of all the worst. Well, one of the stories was basically the kid goes over to spend the night at his friend's house, and in the morning they're all serving cereal and he's like eating it. And so he drinks his milk and he looks around and all the other people are like, the mom's walking by and go, "Are you done with your milk?" And she's like, they're like, "Yeah." And then she watches them basically pour the milk back into the carton. And so then he realizes, that he's just now drank all their backwash. So
gross.
I don't know if that's true, but if that is, that's messed up.
Oh, yuck.
Yeah, Ritz crackers, not breaky food, but yummy. Yeah, I liked Ritz crackers.
I still do. With whatever
with
cheese is around. Yep.
Or peanut butter. Peanut butter is really good on a Ritz cracker. Man, now I'm hungry.
I had leftovers before the show, but yeah, I'm getting hungry too. So,
yeah. So I think we're gonna call it. Me and Jason are gonna go see a movie later.
Whoa.
Yeah, we're gonna go see that movie, A Haunting in Venice, because that looks like the best of all of it. So it's an Agatha Christie.
Mikey?
Yeah.
Mikey from the Life commercials died. Wow.
They've been saying he's died for like the last 30 years. Yeah.
Well,
I'll have to look it up after the show.
Well, I'll tell you a movie we're going to go see at the end of the month. It's going to be the Five Nights at Freddy's movie because Jacob, he grew up, with the Five Nights at Freddy's video game and that whole genre.
Oh, yeah.
And I know bits and pieces of it, but I think me and a couple of his friends were just going to go see it and probably laugh. So
yeah, that's, and honestly, it's the idea of just getting out. And that's
Yeah.
kind of what we want to do. Like, I kind of miss going to see a movie in a theater. And
Mhm.
just like I miss going to a bar like we did last week. Haven't been in a bar in like 3 years. So that was, cool, just getting out, just, you know. And so we looked through the movies, and The Haunting in Venice sounds like the best out of all of them.
Okay.
So we're gonna go see that, and it looks really good, actually. Looks like a good movie. So I think that's what we're gonna do later. And
Cool.
so this has been a lot of fun, actually. We should do this more of just
Yeah.
talking about random stuff, because it gets the chat really involved, and I think
It
we should do this
does.
every week, honestly. Maybe talk about a few things, but kind of make it more about just good things.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds
Yeah, it's
good to
nice
me.
going retro. Yeah, for
It
sure.
is, because man, we have all, a lot in common and talk about,
Yeah.
kind of the same. And and young people can, learn a thing or two about back in our day. So
For sure. For sure.
all right, guys. Well, it's been a lot of fun, and we'll be back next week, probably with a very similar thing. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll
But I hope
see how
everybody
the
has a
week
good
goes.
weekend. And if you haven't already, like, share, and subscribe, and please share. Please share. Get our names
Yep.
out there. We want to we want to get more people in here to enjoy all the fun. So thanks
Yep.
everybody for coming. Later, guys.
All right.
Bye.
Cheerio.